Hello everyone, and thank you for watching this video. As you probably noticed, I started not long ago my own YouTube channel, and I'm posting on my own YouTube channel and also on the VMBF Netherlands channel. This way I want to promote even more the World Natural Bodybuilding. But this video will be especially for my own channel, and I have in mind people that maybe will use the information I'm gonna give today. It's about how to stay in balance considering the calorie intake to maintain weight at a healthy fat percentage, body fat percentage, and build up and maintain muscle mass. I know this subject has been covered many times by people who are very specialized in the field, by athletes, by fitnessers, amateurs or not. I still don't think it has been said everything, so I'm trying to present this subject from my own point of view. As an athlete, I have experienced quite some difficult periods with maintaining weight, losing weight, maintaining muscle mass, stay at a low fat percentage, sometimes maybe unrealistically low. So I just want to share with you a little bit about my own experience. As you know, if you want to compete in a bodybuilding competition, and I always competed in natural bodybuilding competitions, you have to go for a very low fat percentage, that bringing you the advantage of showing much better your muscles, the body you built it till that moment. So that can be quite challenging sometimes. It depends also what type of athlete you've been. For some people it might be easier to lose easier the weight, maybe along their life as sporters, or before practicing sport at a high level, they always had a lower fat percentage. But for some people might be more difficult because genetically they might deposit more than usual or more than desired. I have been somewhere in the middle. I have been in my non-athletic periods at maybe 25, 27, maybe a maximum of 30% body fat. Considering that for a woman, the normal fat percentage should be between 20 to 25. So when I started to compete, I was, before starting my first prep, I was around the 25 fat percentage. And my goal was to get to almost 10. That's very low for a woman, and also very low and hard to achieve for a natural bodybuilder. That means that you have to start on time the period before the competition with losing weight and being in a calorie deficit, and do it in such a way to not make your body your enemy. So not to make your body become stubborn in burning the fat and keeping it as much as possible. I got confronted with that. So in the last 4, 5, sometimes 6 weeks before the competition, I had to go to a very big calorie deficit, more than 1,000. So that was quite challenging and difficult to handle mentally. Hormonally, there's also physical, the physical challenge was also at high level. Most of the time I succeeded to get to that fat percentage, which was in my advantage, especially for the lower body. Women also deposit more around their hips, buttocks. So if you get to that fat percentage, you can also get more definition in your lower body. But after competitions, you can develop some body dysmorphia. You got to that physique and you want to keep it, but it's not realistic, it's not healthy, it's not possible. And for very many athletes, they can confront with binging. They can go to the other extreme, and then you can get quite depressed if in just a couple of weeks looking in the mirror you will see a completely different body than the competition period. So what you can do about that? That's the question. Before I get to that, I have to say that it's not only athletes that got confronted with this situation and with binging and weight gaining in a very short period, but also normal people who have been through a period of quick loss of fat, of weight, and because of high deficit in calorie intake, after a while, after losing some body fat, they went to a binging and they went quicker to the weight they had before, or even more. So this can be addressed to everyone. It's not only about athletes. And it's very natural as a behavior to compensate or to go binging if you consider the way that humans used to live. Long ago, before any kind of modern human life, you used to have periods of hunger because we couldn't just reach the foods we needed. As hunters, we also used to go days without having consistent food, and in that period you are only maybe finding some fruits, wild fruits and grains that you could eat, but not in such a quantity to satisfy your hunger. So when the moment when humans were able to have animal to prepare to eat, then it was kind of a overeating, let's say. But that overeating was with only that occasion. After that were coming other periods of not having much food. The problem is that we can have the same kind of behavior with a small difference. In the moment we go back to food and we access it excessively, after that the chance is not to stop because you don't have it anymore, but to continue. In bodybuilding, it's known that people do the refeeds or cheating days named. If that's combined with a calorie deficit or periods of lower calorie intake, it's not a problem. But that's not the case I'm talking about. It's about when you got to the food, you ate a lot, and you didn't stop afterwards, and you didn't have other periods of fasting. So here comes, let's say, the solution for the problem we are talking about. After eating a lot, if we start another period of calorie deficit and fasting, that will compensate. And yeah, it's a pity I have to say it. Many people will be disappointed to hear this, but after all, it is about calorie intake, and calories in and calories out are the one who determine what happens with our body and how much fat we're gonna deposit as reserves for other times when we don't have enough food. So the solution, it's quite simple. If you do have those moments of eating a lot and eating of things that are not so low in calorie but very consistent in calories, the best idea is afterwards to have periods of fasting for maybe 14, 16, 20 hours, 24 hours. But I am the promoter of fasting combined with calorie counting. It's not so easy to know how much you ate afterwards, and with the very condensed foods we have in these days, very concentrated in calories, after fasting it's very easy to go to extreme and eating a lot of calories in a very short period of time. If you consider a Domino pizza or any other made pizza with a lot of fats and concentrated in all kind of carbs and fats, per one pizza you will get at least 1200 maybe to 1500 calorie, which is almost a necessity for calorie for a person of my size and my age. By the way, I'm 43 almost and 160. So yeah, that's easy to go overeating after fasting and continue for, I don't know, a couple of days, and the fasting in the end didn't do anything in your benefit. The best will be to just have a day when you let it go, but then when you come back from refeeding, re-satisfying your needs for certain foods and certain tastes, to have a fasting, but also be in a calorie deficit for at least 300 to 400 calories per day for at least a few days. So what you ate, like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 calories extra, to be able to compensate it again in, let's say, 7 days period. So balance is the most important, but also knowledge of what you're doing, knowledge of how much you eat. Counting is, after all, not so difficult as long as you already know the values of food, of a certain type of food. Then it will be easier for you to write it down and or to know what you ate and make a close approximation of the calorie intake per day. And if you want it even more accurate, then you can write it in an app or really write it down on the paper, considering the balance you use in the kitchen and also the values of the foods you eat written on the papers, on the packages. So if you really want to be in control of your body weight and your body fat percentage, then you have to take the effort of doing that. After a period, it will become easy and almost as a routine that it won't take more than, let's say, 10 minutes a day, which is very little, to be honest. For the rest, if you make good choices about the foods you are taking daily and not as exceptions, but what you eat every day, if you make the good choices considering their nutrition values and not to be so condensed, but more volume and less condensed in calories, but with enough quantities of proteins, of the good carbs and fats, then yeah, then you make a good choice. And after all, if you want every now and then to have sugar, the sugar is not the devil, but it's also not your best friend. So you have to know about the insulin spikes it provides, higher than the other foods, and you have to know what to use it for. Sugar is just like a piece of paper. You have it in, you put it in the fire, and it's burning very quick. That's what it does in your body too, and it provides a very short period of energy. Being aware of it, you might use it when you need that boost of energy, and afterwards you choose for the foods that are going to be burning slower and give you the energy you need at a pace with your lifestyle, at a pace with what you're doing, how much you exercise, how much you move, how much calories your body burns in a rest mode. So yes, nothing is the devil, but you have to consider them exactly with what they do into your body and when to have them. The carbs are also not the devil. The carbs are also necessary for our body to give the energy we need, to release the hormones we need also. And by example, if you are an athlete that has per week many hours of quite intensive activity, as a functional bodybuilding athlete or runner or a high intensity interval trainer and so on, you will need those, but not only for those. You will need carbs just in general for many processes in your body. The proteins, of course, are very important for muscle maintenance and to repair the muscle fibers that you break during exercising. But let's not exaggerate about it. If you go up to maximum 2 grams per kilo body weight, it's more than enough. In fact, I'm staying between 1.6, 1.8 gram per body weight, and I don't think I'm missing any protein from my nutrition to keep on maintaining and building a bit of muscle mass. The fats are also very necessary, so staying in balance with all the macros we need, it's very important. But how do you know you stay in balance? Well, you'll have to keep the track of them. You have to know how much you eat per day from each of these macros and how much calories together they will bring into your body. So next to this, the exercising is vital. Who thinks that they can live without moving and not moving enough, losing weight by only dieting or maintaining the weight only by keeping the eye on what they eat, it's not complete. We need to move. Our body needs that as just sleep, food, and any other not rituals, but activities that we do that we can't live without. The exercising will increase the cardiovascularity capabilities of our body, so the heart will work properly and will just improve our capacity to maintain a level of energy while exercising. Basically, we will become more and more efficient while moving, improving the cardiovascularity, and not moving only our own body but also lifting weights. It will provide more muscularity, and that will prevent injuries, that will strengthen the joints and so on. There are very many advantages. So if you take every single subject from this video to break it in small parts, we can make another thousands of videos, but this is just in big lines how to maintain a healthy relationship with the food without being scared of eating and sometimes really enjoying foods we like and we miss, and how to not let that one take over us but also to control it, and how to stay in balance considering everyday activity and also sporting, exercising. For even more details about certain subjects, you can always ask and comment in under this video. But I hope I gave a little bit of overview of how to stay in balance or bring balance in life, considering eating and exercising. Hope to see you again.